Scene 1, take 9.
Hello, and welcome to the Scene 1 podcast, the podcast where we aspiring filmmakers take writing prompts from all over the internet and give them our own treatments.
We then discuss our writing methods, why we made the choices we did, and which idea is the most producible for us, and which idea is the most pitchable for a studio.
My name is Derek, and this week our guest is Evan Vaughn.
How's it going, everybody?
Evan is an aspiring director of photography and a working AC. As aspiring creators, it's important for us to constantly be challenging our creativity with stories and genres we wouldn't normally write about. And you may be wondering why Sam isn't here, and it's because we're trying some new things. So Evan is co-piloting this week's episode. This week's writing prompt is from reddit.com, from the subreddit r/writing prompts, from the user u/Ollek?
Ollek?
O-L-L-E-C-K? Ollek, yeah. And Evan, if you wouldn't mind giving us the writing prompt.
Sure. Our writing prompt today is you and 1% of the population experience an 8th day between Sunday and Monday, where the rest of humanity disappears. There's a separate 8th day economy, 8th day cops. Some people even have 8th day spouses. You're using your extra day for something unique, running a cross-world heist.
That's a very spicy prompt.
It's very spicy, a lot of zest.
What's cool about this is you could have a whole Marvel Cinematic Universe of stories that take place in this sort of 8th day world.
Yeah.
And you've got the perfect title for it.
It's this mini multiverse going on, which is super cool.
Because you can have tons of different stories. This one really locks us down into something, into one path, which is a cross-world heist. Today, though, Evan, which I'm going to surprise you with.
Oh, no.
We're going to add a modifier to this week's episode.
Ooh.
This week's modifier is going to be, since we were talking about this earlier, The Rock needs to be in our film.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, The Rock has to be a character in the movie we're writing. That is the modifier for this week. Something new we're going to try. All right.
There we go.
Let's do this. For you, it'll only be a matter of seconds, but for us, it'll be 15 minutes while we sit down and try and break the next story for The Rock's new feature film in the 8th Day franchise.
An 8th Day franchise.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
Alrighty. Welcome back, everyone. Back to the C1 podcast. As a reminder, the writing prompt is, you and 1% of the population experience an 8th day between Sunday and Monday where the rest of humanity disappears. There's a separate economy, cops, and people even have separate spouses, among many other things. You're going to use your extra day for something unique, running a cross-world heist. And our modifier is that we need to have The Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, in our film. Alrighty, Evan, would you like to go first?
Sure. So my pitch is, Nick, an ex-bodybuilder running a failing tax company, notices something strange when he wakes up Monday morning. It seems that no one else exists, including his wife and son. He investigates, wandering through town where he runs into an old woman who tells him he is living in the 8th day, a period of 24 hours that exists outside the normal space-time continuum. The 8th day has its own people, society, and businesses, and it is here that Nick hatches a plan to save his business and his family.
Cool. Do you have a title for your pitch?
I'm just going to do 8th day.
8th day, okay.
Which isn't the most creative thing in the world.
All right. So we've got 8th day, and over here,
yes,
we've got the $8th dollar.
The $8th. I love that.
Here's my pitch. 7 days a week, Jarvis Johnson is a delivery man. On the special 8th day he experiences, he's a getaway driver. Sick of being a middleman in the 8th day world and a normal guy in the 7-day world, JJ comes up with a plan to rob a powerful bank in the 8th day world and change his standing in the 7th day world using 8th day money.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I like how we both still managed to keep the heist theme.
Yeah.
Both our films feature struggling guys that just want to be in a better place, which is, I mean, like, if you watch any of The Rock's movies or know his life, like, that's been his whole life.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good place to start. I like your ex-bodybuilder
I was trying to justify why.
Yeah,
this
no,
guy
yeah.
looks
Why is The Rock? No, that makes
so
perfect
jacked.
sense. Yeah, I feel like in mine you could easily replace The Rock with like Kevin Hart.
But it's easy to like imagine him in that role though too. I
Yeah.
think that's pretty cool.
Let's dive into your story
Okay.
and where you think it would go. So do you see, like, where do you see the character going? Like what kind of trials and tribulations is he going to experience? How do you see the film ending? Does it end tragically, or does it end with him like jumping off of an oil rig onto a boat with all the money, and he gets back to the seventh day just in time for Monday morning at the tax thing, and his family loves him again? Or what kind of a heist is he going to plan to save his business and his family?
I kind of see him starting to invest in businesses in the eighth day, and then taking the money back with him when he gets it.
Gotcha.
So then he's like using it in the real world. So he's using that to like save his business. But then obviously it's going to come back to bite him because the IRS is going to be like, where did this come from?
Right, because it's different currency. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's smart, because it's like a stock trading movie.
Yeah,
It's like The Big Short,
exactly.
but a little more personal, small, and family oriented.
Yeah,
And you still have plenty of room for great scenes of The Rock running away from the government to
Exactly.
save his family.
he could fight the IRS. He's already fighting a building and skyscraper, so now he could fight the
Yeah.
IRS.
Okay. I like that. It's a good motivation and a very wholesome way to do it. Like, he's not necessarily doing anything wrong. He's doing like what I think any reasonable businessman would do.
Right.
It just so happens that he gets, because I like that he's new to the eighth day world, because it explains why he thinks, oh, I can just invest and then use that money.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't realize it's everything separate.
It's completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
And then
like
it
that.
also like kind of gives the audience sort of that like entrance to the world as well.
Right. As he's learning, they're learning.
Exactly. So let's dive into yours now.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely something. I wrote a little bit about where I think it's going to go.
Okay.
But like kind of my whole idea was like, as he begins to like make his plan and assemble his crew of other celebrities,
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, it's like Kevin Hart, Vin Diesel, a bunch of other people. He truly begins to question what actually makes him happy in life. And like the whole like kind of thing was like, he kind of figures out that like what he's missing from his life isn't money, isn't a fast car, isn't a good job. It's the fact that there was no unified goal or mission. And in this eighth day world, he has that mission. It's steal a bunch of money and bring it back to the seventh day world. Which, like, I like how we both still have the use the money from one world in the other world.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. But then eventually he, like, figures out, like, oh, what I really wanted to be growing up was a painter.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's, like, what I wrote. Yeah, he, like, really, like towards the end of the film, he, like, realizes I really want to be a painter. And so he's got to figure out, like, does he go through with the heist? Or does he give up the heist and try and pursue this goal of being a painter? Which is like...
That's so funny. That's so... Yeah, that's completely...
It just completely comes out of left field. But, like,
Yeah.
I figure, like, you could build in, real subtle ways to, like, build in, like... Because, like, you've got a guy like The Rock who's so big and imposing, to, like, have him, like, just be want to be a painter, I feel like is a nice...
That's pretty cool.
It's a very nice image.
Yeah. It's very sweet. It's very wholesome.
Yeah. I like how the instant you add The Rock, it becomes wholesome.
Yeah.
And the character is immediately like, the character can't do anything bad. Like, they can be in a bad situation or be forced to do bad things,
Right.
but they can't be bad. And I feel like that is something media and stories struggle with. Like, the instant a character does something bad, it's really hard to forgive them.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that's also sort of The Rock, too. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't look at that guy and be like, that guy's like a villain. Like, he's just so...
Which is going to be... It's going to be wild when Shazam comes out, or the next Shazam, and he's the villain in the next Shazam.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious how that's going to go.
Because he's always the hero.
Yeah, he's always the hero, and the last time he played a villain was like... I mean, I guess you could say Fast and Furious 5, and I guess you could say The Scorpion King.
But, like...
What? Or not even The Scorpion King, The Mummy 2.
Wow.
Yeah, his first role.
This is first... Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I like how, in terms of the story tropes that we're adhering to, I like the idea of a man that is struggling, that needs, that wants to change their path. Yours has a more wholesome route of the family, Whereas mine's like very self-centered, but I think both of ours they end in the same place of what really matters to them. And in your case, it's clearly his family, and in my case, it's this unresolved passion for painting.
I think that's so funny though. I really like that.
I mean, like that's really all I have. Things that we're gonna expect in a movie starring The Rock. You can expect a lot of running, jumping,
Fighting,
lots
of people at once.
A really good couple one-liners. The Rock and his crew are playing, and they're like all like joking about like what they're gonna spend their money on. And the first thing that comes out of his mouth is just like, "I want to get a beret." And they're like, "What? Why a beret?" He's like, "I don't know." And then like later in the film, it like comes back like, "Oh yeah, beret, painter."
Oh my god.
You know, it's like such a it's such a stereotypical silly thing, but like maybe there's like this like one thing he holds on to from his childhood, you know, where he like had something like that, or like every kid at one point got one of those really like cheap painter berets and the little painter toy set.
Yeah.
Maybe he had one at one point, and he like mesmerizes him, or perhaps like the way he thinks throughout the course of the film. He thinks less like a calculated thief and more of like more creatively. And as the film progresses, he expresses this creative gene that no one thought he had.
He never got to express. I think that's really cool.
How about you?
It's a fistful of dollars and it's a really big fist. It's something like that. It was in one of the movies that like just came out that he was in, but it was like he was like choking a guy out and he was like, "Don't fight it, it's a big arm," or something. It's like a big bicep. It was pretty funny.
I think it works. It's a nice. It pays homage to like some westerns, and it'd be fun if you had a fistful of dollars and punched some guy, and then you got the confetti and
exactly
to shoot that'd be a lot of fun.
That'd be pretty funny.
All right, let's segue into like pitchable versus producible.
I think yours is pitchable. I think I really see yours as like a studio film.
Really?
Is like with the getaway car and.
Oh yeah. Stuff. Okay. Fair.
I think that'd be pretty.
Yes, definitely with the getaway car. I totally forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. It's like a getaway car. He's not tied down to anything. It's less characters to worry about in the 7th day world.
Yeah.
You can really focus on the 8th day world. I was going to say yours was the most pitchable because, like, if you were to pitch this to The Rock, I feel like he'd go with yours because you've got a nice, like, family theme in there that I think he'd be really attached to. But you are right in that if we manage to somehow afford The Rock on our indie budget
and get him interested
in it, we could make yours because it's less of a heist with getaway cars and explosions and more of like almost like a thriller.
Yeah.
And like in some regards, because you don't have to worry about like, yes, maybe there's a foot chase or a car chase, but you don't need those.
Yeah.
You know, he is a tax accountant that is an ex-bodybuilder, so yes, he's in shape and can run away from them. But you don't need to worry about big set pieces. Like I'm sure in this film there's going to be a big set piece. I don't know about yours.
Super cool. Yeah.
But like, I feel like, yeah, you're right in that. But I do think there is some merit to pitching yours. Which one do we want to go with? Yours is the most producible and mine's the most pitchable.
I think that's
Okay.
Because I feel like this could be like very. I don't know, it could be like anything in a way. Like I feel like it could be like an indie drama or like whatever.
Yeah.
Like you could do it on a super low budget. Yours you could definitely like. I feel like you could go all out on it. It could be super fun.
You have to have action in this.
You have to have action. Yeah, it's The Rock too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. Audience members, if you thought differently, comment below or write us a review and let us know what you think. Back to something else that we don't really get to talk about, but like as a director of photography, how do you kind of see yours being shot? Like what kind of colors, vibes, like do you see lots of shaky cam, dollies, sliders? Like, yeah.
I see like a lot of like Steadicam. For sure. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It just
a lot of longer takes?
Some longer takes, but I don't know. Yeah, I could see a lot of it being on a Steadicam in certain parts. Maybe like when he's in the 8th day world for the first time, I could see it being like a little shaky.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I could actually see a lot of it being like just like on a dolly or whatever.
Okay. A little bit kinetic.
And then I think it'd be cool if like the 8th day world was like there's something different about it. Like maybe it was like blue or like there was some like major color differences.
Yeah.
Like, maybe like the sky was inversed or something.
So you'd want to play with like the colors and like the motion of the scenes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. What about mine?
What about
How would you want to lens and shoot mine?
Ooh, definitely. Well, I could definitely see like a lot of like really cool action sequences with like fast car stunts and like things like that. It's like, you know, a bit of like shaky cam.
What do you see the color palette being?
The color palette, I definitely like dark at certain points because he's like a getaway driver at night. So I see like a lot of like blacks and like things like that. Definitely a lot darker, but I think it's really, really cool. Kind of mixed in with like super bright explosions and stuff like that, potentially. As a director, do you have any like things that you would draw upon for directing yours, do you think?
Yeah, so for $8, I definitely want to rewatch Premium Rush. There's this indie drama called Comfort about a messenger.
Okay.
And it takes place entirely at night because he has a condition that prevents him from being out in the sunlight.
Ooh.
So he lives a backwards life. And then I'd want to also... I'm a big fan of early 2000s racing movies like The Fast and the Furious, and Triple X. So I'd want to watch all of those and figure out how do those compare to like modern car racing movies and how can we do it differently.
Right.
For yours, definitely, I need to rewatch Central Intelligence.
Central Intelligence.
I need to see Skyscraper when it comes out.
Yeah.
And I'd want to watch maybe
500 Days of Summer with Dwayne Johnson.
I mean, that could work, or like The Wolf of Wall Street or The Big Short.
Oh,
like
yeah,
both of those would be good to watch. Maybe even like I feel like you could watch some biopics and really pull from some of those biopic techniques they do.
That's interesting.
With like how they present like the character version of them. I feel like you could almost take that approach to this guy. Because like when people watch The Rock, they expect The Rock to be The Rock.
Yeah.
But if you like really found a way to like get people to go to the movie to see The Rock but end up really falling in love with Nick, I feel like that would be the ultimate move as a director and like pushing The Rock's performance and the story performance. Because like there's nothing more, I think, satisfying to an actor or a director or any filmmaker when the audience is completely immersed. And I feel like that's the problem with a lot of bigger celebrities is people go to the movies to see them be them. And for those celebrities as actors, they don't get the chance to, you know, not be them. And while we wrote movies that clearly would fit The Rock, I feel like within those we can push to try and get people to remember the character that The Rock played.
Yeah.
And I feel like that would be my biggest goal as a director. How to accomplish that? Well, I'd have to sit down with The Rock and really work and direct him a lot and have him do his thing, but also like find ways to subvert what he normally does.
That'd be interesting.
So that's how I look at it.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
Just as like a side note too, I like how you kept his last name. So
Yeah.
Jarvis Johnson. I really like that.
Jarvis Johnson has been a name I've been wanting to use in something for a while. So.
Oh really?
Yeah. I like the idea of Jarvis Johnson, but call me JJ.
Call me JJ.
I like that a lot.
That's interesting.
So yeah. Alrighty. Well, that is a wrap on this week's Scene 1. Thank you so much for listening or watching.
Thank you very much, guys.
And if you think The Rock should listen to this podcast and be in one of these movies, hit him up on Twitter, tweet at him, and let him know that we have two great movies to pitch him. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe, leave us a review, and if you have any writing prompts you want us to do, comment them. And if you have any writing, and if you would like to do your own take on this, let us know and send them to us. We'd love to read them. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.